Welcome to today's Explainer. Right now, we're diving into a totally universal mystery, one that pretty much everyone hits at some point in their career. You know the feeling, right? You finally land that raise, you hit that big milestone you've been busting your tail for, but somehow you don't actually feel any richer. So, we're going to pop the hood on this invisible trap, break down exactly why it happens, and most importantly, figure out how we can avoid it.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Have you ever noticed something kind of weird about your bank account as you move up in your career? Seriously, think about your very first paycheck compared to what you're pulling in right now. You are likely making way more money today than you were 3, 5, or even 10 years ago. But do you actually have more breathing room? For a lot of us, the answer is a hard no. And man, that is exactly what we're dissecting today. See, we all just naturally assume that a bigger paycheck mathematically guarantees more financial security. I mean, it makes sense, right? But here is the harsh reality. Every single time you make more money, you somehow end up right back where you started at the end of the month. It's like the math literally doesn't add up. Why doesn't a bump in your top-line earnings translate to a bump in your bottom line? To really wrap our heads around how this happens, let's look at a real-world example. Meet Sarah. Sarah is going to be our case study for this explainer. We're going to follow her financial journey because, honestly, her story takes this kind of abstract economic concept and grounds it in a completely tangible, totally relatable reality. Her experience just perfectly mirrors this hidden trap that so many people fall into without even realizing it. So, Sarah recently got her first big raise. She celebrated, and hey, rightfully so. She secured an extra $500 a month in her paycheck. Now look, we aren't talking about lottery money here. This isn't sudden multimillionaire status. But an extra $500 a month? That is absolutely massive. It's totally enough money to celebrate and definitely enough to feel a real, immediate difference in your day-to-day life. And you know what? For that first month, she really did feel that difference. That first bigger paycheck hit her bank account and boom, true feeling of relief and freedom. But then as we slide into months 2 through 5, we enter this tricky little phase we'll call the creep. That initial feeling of wide-open financial freedom slowly, almost invisibly, began to just dissolve. By the time she hit month 6, right on the edge of getting a second raise, the entire landscape of her finances had completely changed underneath her feet. So how exactly did it dissolve? Well, it wasn't one massive, reckless purchase, right? It was the little upgrades. She upgraded her apartment just a bit. She started ordering takeout a little more often instead of cooking, bought a nicer phone, added a few brand new streaming subscriptions. Honestly, nothing here is crazy. They're just little improvements, little rewards for her hard work. But man, these seemingly harmless choices quickly compounded to eat up that entire $500 surplus. Which brings us to the real climax of Sarah's story. 6 months later, Sarah actually got another raise, and somehow she still felt completely broke. The financial stress she felt way before that very first raise, it remained exactly the same. And that is when a massive realization hit her. The problem wasn't her income. Making more money didn't magically solve her money problems because her income was never actually the root of the issue.
What Sarah experienced, and honestly, what so many of us experience, is called lifestyle inflation. It's this wild phenomenon where your expenses rise just as fast as your income. The more you earn, well, the more normal expensive things start to feel. Things that once felt like rare, special luxuries slowly morph into absolute everyday necessities in your mind.
And this creates a really vicious, repeating cycle. It goes like this. Step 1, you get a new raise. Step 2, you add new expenses, justifying them, because hey, you're making more money. Step 3, you end up feeling the exact same financial stress as before. And then, the whole cycle repeats. It's like you're running in place on a treadmill, sprinting faster and faster as you earn more, but never actually moving a single inch forward financially. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between how the average person handles a raise and how a true wealth builder handles it. The average mindset says, okay, my income went up, so I should upgrade everything in my life. But the wealth mindset, it takes a totally different approach. When their income goes up, they don't upgrade their lifestyle, they upgrade their investments. Let's look a little closer at what those wealth builder upgrades actually look like. When that extra $500 hits their account, they direct that new money into very specific areas: their investments, their savings, and their future. They make absolutely sure that their assets are growing faster than their lifestyle. They flat out refuse to let everyday expenses eat up their new income, choosing instead to literally buy their future freedom. Which brings us right to the core thesis of this entire explainer. Wealth isn't created by what you earn. It is created by what you keep. If your lifestyle constantly grows faster than your assets, you're always going to feel like you're running in place, no matter how much money you make. Because your salary, it does not dictate your wealth. Your retention rate does.
So I want to leave you with one final thought. Have you ever gotten a raise and somehow still felt broke? Seriously, think back on your own financial journey. Have you ever fallen victim to that subtle creep of lifestyle inflation? If this resonates with you, drop down to the comments and simply type yes. Let's get a real conversation going down there. And hey, if you want to make sure you're upgrading your future instead of just your lifestyle, hit that subscribe button for more money lessons that unfortunately most people figure out way too late. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.